Hosts are phenomenal. Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with
co-host Kathryn Brandt.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
And Kristyn Burtt.
That's so wonderful. You people who post on this show, I adore you. Listen to this.
What do you mean, you people?
They're talking between one another.
Yes.
I believe I outrank all of you in the ancient category. That's from Charlie in Albuquerque. Phew. There are all these different posts about you got no shot. You're out of the mix. Honest to God.
Old. Tyre says he was old. Let's see. Yes, Tire Carver said he's old, and then Joe said you're both ancient. I think. Oh, it was Dave. Shoulder to shoulder with Howard. Howard is Tire Carver, for those who don't know. So now they're all talking about who's oldest. But yes, I think Charlie probably is the oldest listener in the chat, generally speaking.
All right, well, I'm glad that I looked at that first because I just got some news from Hubbard that one of the nicest men you'd ever want to meet. Snowstorm, when was that, last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
The big one.
Yeah.
The big one.
I think his wife was driving. I shouldn't say that because I don't know who was driving, but their car spun out and started going backwards. They got hit and their 8-year-old son was killed. Oh, I just found that out literally just now. Nicest guy. Dave is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet in your life. Why?
I don't know. These things happen.
Just so sad. It's Dave. I'm sorry to hear that. It's so hard for me to even think about that. But I believe the baby boy was 8 years old. I think. I'm not sure. But Dave is one of the nicest people I have ever met. This stuff shouldn't be happening, but I will move on from that. I just found out about that literally just now. So it just, Jesus. I better calm down. I'll tear up here. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Follow that lead in, Kristyn.
What was that?
I said follow that lead in, Kristyn.
Yeah, I know.
No. I just wanted to, look, you know that I love to honor people that I know that I really like. But I can't even. I guess it was it was snowing so hard. There was so much snow and ice on the freeway that apparently the car spun out and was going backwards.
I've actually had that happen to me.
Yeah? Oh,
it's
yeah.
Very, very scary. Yes.
It's true.
And when you come to a landing, you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't hit or hit anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush. I spun out when I was in high school once, and it was terrifying. I didn't hit anything either, and I don't know. I still to this day do not know how.
I know.
The closest I ever came was I was at a Walgreens parking lot, and I parked my car, and the parking lot was on a hill, and the parking spaces were parallel to the hill. So I parked, and then I just started sliding sideways down the hill.
I remember that.
It's like, you can't do anything. You accelerate, nothing's going to happen. You brake, nothing's going to happen because you're going sideways. That's how wheels work. So I literally just I went like this, and I was just like, well, whatever happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And it ended up not being that big of a deal, but still, it really does. It's not pleasant how powerless you can be in situations like that.
It rattles you. It really does. And it rattles you
does.
for a little while, like a week or so after, you're driving and you're like, oh God, that shook me up.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we moved out of that whole Dayton area is because there were so many fatal accidents on 94.
Oh yeah.
Because it's only 2 lanes on each side. Okay. It's a freeway, so it's a huge truck route.
Yep.
So there's just tons and tons of semis, and it was always icy and always glazed over. And I remember a mother of one of your classmates got killed there.
Yeah.
And they were just
for a while there, it was like every winter, someone would take their motorcycle out or something like that and take a curve too fast, and that was the end of them.
Yeah, they finally put up some of those wire things in between so people wouldn't go careening across because it's very flat there. and it just was piled up with snow and ice all the time. And I was just like, I don't want my kids, I don't want to drive on this road anymore.
Yeah.
And that's
No.
the only way to get out of there was to basically get on the freeway at that time. There
Someone
wasn't
just
an exit.
texted in, my girlfriend went through the Brooklyn Center sign in 2024's March winter storm.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well,
Yeah.
right
It's-
through the sign, huh?
Well, there's nothing you can do. And all these
Yep.
people that think that just because I have a pickup truck with
Yeah, I
four-wheel
know.
drive, go careening. It doesn't matter if you have four-wheel drive. Doesn't matter how big the vehicle is. And, and then you're on a icy freeway and you've got these pickup trucks tailgating you.
I know, it's
Visibility's
like,
terrible.
Are you insane?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I always hated that. I mean, down here in Florida, they drive like frickin' maniacs all the time. They're always latching onto a bumper. It's very scary stuff, but at least we don't have ice and snow, too.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
Yeah, I'm not going
it's
to talk about California drivers. They're just as bad. So,
Are they?
yeah, I mean, we don't get to go that fast oftentimes, but we get a lot of the people that like to just like zoom in and out, and then we have a lot of drag racing in California. I'm always
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
got it here,
what
too.
is up
West
with the
Palm Beach,
street
too,
racing?
all the
Oh yeah,
time.
Palm Beach. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All the time.
And you just kind of like roll your eyes over it because it's so obnoxious and
Well,
dangerous
and
too.
I see cops all the time on the road, and I'll see somebody cut somebody off or be tailgating right in front of the cop. They don't do anything about it. They don't
It
pull them
depends
over.
on where you are.
Well, on our freeways here, they don't seem to do anything about it. They don't seem to care. And what's amazing is you drive around on the smaller roads where they can't really go that fast, or there's so many lights that you can actually see cars. You see crashed up cars all the time. Their quarter panels crashed in.
Yep.
Their front end is crashed in. They're always in car accidents because they all drive like idiots and they all run the lights.
I know my favorite is when you see a car that's like every bit of it has some sort of damage to it. And then they're just like swerving all over the place and like not stopping for stop signs. It's like, gee, I wonder how your car got that way.
Yeah, exactly.
No surprise.
No surprise at all. So, anyway, on to more pleasant things. Are there any pleasant things in
I don't
Hollywood
know.
today?
More deaths, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we lost Gil Gerard, who played Buck
Oh.
Rogers. He was 82. And the sad thing, if you read his wife's Facebook post, it looks like he just got diagnosed with a very rare and aggressive cancer, and it was a matter of days before they lost
Oh,
him.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of those, bile duct cancer is one of those that like it can go from diagnosis to death in no time. Well, Melissa's grandpa was actually like that. I think between the time he got an
Yeah, he
official
went fast.
diagnosis to the time he was dead, I think it was like a week, something like that. But that is also because he was ignoring symptoms for a very, very long time. So that's when it comes to cancer, getting it diagnosed early is the most crucial thing, no matter what kind of cancer it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
See,
feel
he had.
like a lot of older men don't like going to the doctor.
It just says he had some sort of viciously aggressive form of cancer.
The Facebook post says he lost his fight with a rare and viciously aggressive form of cancer. From the moment we knew something was wrong to his death this morning was only days. So that's the exact quote.
There are cancers that are like that, though, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yep.
There are.
And then there was
Right.
another one I thought, but maybe I'm wrong. Did anyone? Fred Berry. Who's Fred Berry?
Fred Bear.
Someone in the chat said R.I.P. Fred Berry. Oh yeah. Wait, Fred Berry died 22 years ago. What the hell are you talking about?
Sometimes you need to like research before you read chat comments.
That said R.I.P. Fred Berry. Tiffy, explain yourself, or we're gonna have to ban you forever and ever.
Just a couple of your of Tom's listeners asked me to kind of give updates on the Rob Reiner case that has been going on, and someone specifically asked like how did Conan O'Brien fit into all of this? And I think we had mentioned it was Conan O'Brien's Christmas party that kind of this is where the situation escalated eventually into the murder, as we piece together the timeline. And I think about this, and this is just like a weird situation. Conan O'Brien's house is in the Pacific Palisades, but it's just down the street from Rob Reiner's Brentwood house. The Brentwood house where Rob Reiner died is literally just down the street from O.J. Simpson's estate and just 5 minutes down the road from Nicole Brown Simpson's condo. So I'm like, what is up with this weird little triangle? And remember, like that little pocket where, like sort of Brentwood Palisades was like the only area spared from the Palisades fire, which is really interesting. And Conan, who had lost both of his parents within a matter of days, last year at this time, literally said like, hey, I'm going to throw a Christmas party to kind of turn things around. You know, we had a tough start to the year with the Palisades fire and everything else. And now his party is kind of like the catalyst for how everything kind of wound up. The Reiners brought Nick to the party. They asked O'Brien if they could because they didn't want to leave him alone at the house. His behavior had been escalating over the past few months. O'Brien was like, of course. He did make, he was having like certain outbursts. He was asking weird questions of people. And his final altercation was with Bill Hader, the actor. And Bill Hader just said, you know, I guess Nick kept on interrupting a private conversation Bill Hader was having with someone. And Bill Hader was like, hey, I'm having a private conversation. Can you just give me a moment? And it just his behavior escalated from there. Nick and Rob then had a very loud verbal altercation. The Reiners apologized to Conan O'Brien and his wife, and they left. And that's the last time anyone saw them alive.
So this was at like a party
It was at a party Saturday night.
in
And
Conan's house?
in Conan O'Brien's house.
Okay.
Reiners were there.
Huh.
Jane Fonda was there. Bill Hader was there.
No.
You had Eric Idle from Monty Python. He was also there. Like a lot of people are admitting that they were actually at the party, and they're all sort of like reeling from all of that. The LAPD yesterday charged Nick with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances with a knife, which does make him eligible for the death penalty. Which has been kind of like on hold or on this like moratorium here in California, but it looks like they may try and pursue it. So that is going to be
Wow.
interesting if that
A
happens.
death penalty case in California. That's
Yeah, I didn't
not
even
what I
know.
expected.
Yeah,
No.
I know.
When's the
we'll
last
see how
time
it
someone
goes.
was executed in California?
I couldn't tell you.
Let's see. Who was the last execution in California? Don't you love the
But
internet?
won't he just claim mental health issues and then that'll exclude him from
They always
the death
claim it, but
penalty?
Well,
it's actually hard to, like, you have to get a diagnosis by a professional and you have to, like, show. It's actually arguably harder to get yourself off. It's not off. That's the other thing. It's
Well-
like, even if,
Hang on. Because he has Alan Jackson as his lawyer, who just got Karen Reed off in the Karen Reed case in Boston. He's represented Phil Spector. He's represented Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, this is a guy that doesn't necessarily represent good people, but he oftentimes gets the, your jail sentence reduced significantly.
yeah, but double first degree murder, I mean, there's guidelines. I don't think they can reduce that.
Well, look
I
at the
bet that
Menden-
he'll get him a life sentence versus death penalty.
Yeah,
I'll
look
call
at the
that right now.
Menendez brothers. I mean, they murdered their parents. They're still
That's-
alive.
That's true. The last execution in California was in 2006. Almost 20 years. 20 years in exactly 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
I feel like everybody gets all hot under the collar when somebody does some horrendous thing and call for the death penalty, and everybody thinks that's okay, or it's going to happen. And then as soon as the lawyers get all done with
never
it,
happens.
It never happens. I would say life sentence, if he's convicted. I'm assuming he's convicted since he's the only suspect in the case, of course. But there are questions like Nick Reiner will not be eligible for the family's inheritance because there is a slayer statute in California. So if
Yeah.
he's convicted, he is completely, excised out of the will. But there are rumors that the family's money is paying for Alan Jackson, the lawyer, because Alan Jackson, the lawyer, is not a public defender. He is not free. So there's some sort of controversy that is it possible that Rob Reiner's paying for his own son, to be
Yeah.
defended with all of this. And I think that there's a lot of questions about, like, at what point do you give up on your child? And, Rob Reiner never did, and look where it wound him up. So there's been a lot of public debate about that, too. It's just
And
tragic.
to elaborate on what Mom said, so you said that he probably is going to plead insanity, which he probably is, because that's
Yeah.
just like how it goes with cases like this.
Well, and a lot of times drug addicts are insane.
That's true. But pleading insanity, if your insanity plea works and you get found, criminally insane, oftentimes that is a worse outcome than simply going to prison for the rest of your life. Because that doesn't mean you get off. It doesn't mean you weren't guilty of something. You don't get punished.
Sure.
It means that instead of going to prison, you go to a psych ward, you get put in a padded cell, and you get doped up with so many drugs they turn you into a zombie, and there you remain for the rest of your days.
Is that true still? I mean, that sounds like
That's the only thing they can for, like,
something
I'm not
from
talking
the
about, like,
40s.
everyone in a psych ward gets, one flew over a cuckoo's nested.
Yeah.
But cases like this, where it's like, you argue that
Criminally
I'm
insane.
so
Yeah.
violently crazy that I killed my parents. Really, the only thing they have for cases like that is they just give you so much Thorazine that you can't even move. And
The
that's
other
just
thing I
where you
want to
are.
add about this too is that he had enough foresight to go check into a hotel, shower. He went and got a drink at a gas station, store. You're not probably insane in that moment. Do you know what I'm saying? He knew to use his credit card after all of this.
Yeah.
He knew that to clean off all of the blood. So I think
To
it's
try to
going to be
hide it.
hard to claim insanity and.
yeah. Yeah,
And
that does-
and also anyone who's on that jury, like Rob Reiner,
Oh,
is
God.
beloved in this town, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the other thing too is like even though his political leanings were very clear, you are seeing people in Hollywood who are clear conservatives who absolutely adored Rob Reiner too.
Yeah.
Didn't care about the political affiliation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I saw a tweet by James Woods, and James Woods is like pretty famously conservative in Hollywood. He's probably like one of like the guys that you think of like as a conservative in Hollywood.
Yes.
And he said that Rob was never anything but nice to him, and they worked together all the time and so forth. So
he was
it's,
pretty
you know,
broken up about it, and I
Yeah.
think that's in general. That's how people feel about all of this, and it's. I will say
Yep.
it's rare for LA to be shaken up so much by something like this. People are like to the
Yeah.
core,
Yep.
so upset about it.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. Like I said, I think I mentioned on the show yesterday that I talked to Rob about 4 or 5 times differently. Never met him in person, but I think I actually did meet him in person once, many, many, many years ago. But one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. Yes, he's very, very far left, but you would never know it. He doesn't talk that way, or
Well, he certainly did on social media.
Oh, on social media, he did.
There was
yes.
no avoiding that.
That's true.
He was brutal on social media.
That is
That's why I
true.
guess as soon as everybody heard that he was murdered, everybody assumed it was going to be something about politics.
Yeah,
I
for
did.
real.
Yeah,
I said
me
that to Bill. I said, I wonder if that is like a politically motivated murder. That's awful.
Yeah.
And because I was like, it can't be murder suicide. You go through like what it could possibly be. I'm like, it doesn't sound like right there. But and home invasion was the other one that I thought of because those have become so common across the U.S.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No question about that. I kind of went, I mean, obviously it didn't go anywhere near that far, but as I mentioned before, my father was severely mentally ill. And there were times when he would, to other people, threaten that he was going to take out the family and he didn't want to live in Minnesota anymore. He wanted to move to like, California and blah, blah. But he would talk about killing us all to other people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
well,
scary.
And a lot of and sometimes they do it.
And sometimes they actually do.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the problem is you don't know what's just ranting and raving and what else is going on. You just don't
Yeah,
know.
and here we are. And I think like if you're, enough people have come forward and just said, this family loved this child no matter what, but it was escalating. And, they threw as much money as they could. I mean, at this point, I think the number in rehab, it started out at 16, 17. It's now 18 that he had been in rehab. But he had been in rehab 17 times before he was 22.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, and obviously we know that there's mental health tied to his addiction, so it's not just
Right.
something simple. And for the children left behind, I mean, I realize that they are adults, but it was Romy who discovered her father didn't know her mother was dead.
Oh.
So they may have been in separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
And it was, the cops that eventually went in and was like, your mother has also passed. I mean, there is a lot to unpack for the family.
Yeah, that is just horrible.
It
Yeah.
is very, very sad, no question about it. I just, and what did you say? How many times did he go to rehab? 18?
So before he reached the age of 22, the number was 18.
Oh,
and,
God.
Yeah. And so you think of the millions, because at that point,
Yes.
you're throwing millions at that.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yes. Yep.
And if
Don't
you're-
you?
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I just feel if you're in your 30s and you have been in rehab that many times, I mean, at some point, you've got to just call it,
Yeah, you'd
right?
think.
I mean, it's generally drug addicts in their 30s, they usually OD, and that's the end of it. But, I
Yep.
mean, they've tried, I just don't know. I mean, they had the resources. I guess the best thing might, in hindsight, would have been, hey, you know what? This is your money every month. You live on that, and don't contact us anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Go do drugs, and until you decide not to do drugs, don't be around us. I don't know.
Curious too if they were ever able to get him 5150 in California, which at least gives that like 72-hour, psych evaluation. Because I think that there had been some talk about finding some type of high security facility to, mental health facility for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, there's a good point just
Awful.
made by DH 1962. These people just need to keep their mouths shut on social media.
Well,
Whether
I don't know
people-
if that had anything to do with
No, no,
his
I'm-
death, but it's true.
I'm talking about now.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah. I can,
It'd be nice if like social media just went away in 2026.
Just in
How
general.
about that?
and I've talked about this before. I'm not revealing anything now, but 3 of my uncles were murdered. And going through that you wouldn't believe what that. Well, 2 were great uncles, and 1 was my uncle Augie, my mother's brother Augie, I adored that man. He was a wonderful guy, and he got murdered too. To see your family getting murdered like that is, oh my. You know what though? I literally, as a teenager or a little boy, thought, well, that must happen to everybody. No, I mean it was just like. Well, it's part of life now, I guess. But no, it is not part of life now, I guess. It just
Sometimes I feel like it is.
sometimes you do,
Sometimes
don't
it feels
you?
like it really does.
Oh, I
Yep.
I mean, it
know. I
probably
mean,
was for the majority of human history, if you think about it.
Yep.
yeah. Well, there was just that MIT professor,
Yeah.
brilliant
Oh,
guy,
yeah, that's
murdered in
right.
his own home,
Yep.
most likely because he's Jewish.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
what's
the rise of
going on in this world.
anti-Semitism is really frightening.
It's terrible.
the hell
Really
is that
frightening
now?
around the world too.
Yeah, around the world. Yep,
Yeah.
it is around the world. I just really wish our politicians were only in it for the money.
Well, and also these globalist organizations,
Yes.
like this Palestine crap. I'm sorry. I'm
Please
sick
don't
of
say
it.
that too loud because I have to
I'm
go outside later on today.
Yeah, really.
It's like, Jesus.
Sorry.
No, it made me very sad because, like I said, Rob, different kind of guy, no question. He's very political. There's no question about that either. But he was very, very pleasant to talk to. Just a really nice guy. And, oh, Tom, your show's kicking ass. It's really nice. I mean, he was very, very pleasant. Or I should say he is very pleasant because he didn't get killed. But I don't know. I grew up in that kind of area where I told the story, yesterday after this whole situation that I was having lunch with a friend at North High School. He was very depressed. We wanted to talk to me, see if, he could feel better. I said, well, I got to go back to class. He goes, yeah, I think I'll just head home. Walked over to the Clark station, shot and killed the attendant. How is it the attendant's fault? I don't know, but he had to kill somebody, I guess. It's the whole world is just so insane. Yeah. But to kill your own mother and father after they tried to help you 18 times to get your head out of your ass, they maybe should start executing people. You go through treatment 3 times, and you can't handle it. Just take them out.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you just have to cut your losses and be like,
You do.
well, I
Yep.
mean, obviously it's horrible just saying my kid is a lost cause, but 18 times in rehab, there's just no way he's going to get better. Obviously.
I don't know. It's
And
But
isn't that
we can't
understand
even
it.
change this, though. You know what I mean? Like
No.
the outcome of this
Nope.
is like it's
Yeah.
done. That's
Right.
the sad part of it. Like we can debate this
No, it's true.
all we want, but Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle are no longer here. That's the
Yeah.
worst part of it all.
Yeah, that's very.
Right.
See, what's so amazing about that is, like 30 seconds ago, what a coincidence this is. I was thinking to myself, God, I should call Rob. No, he's one of the dead people, Tom. You can't call Rob. But, I mean, we weren't good friends or anything, but he was very nice to me. He was very pleasant. Well, I heard from everybody. He was just a very, very nice guy.
Yeah, and his work, I think the nice thing about his legacy, I guess I should say, is in terms of like his films, they're popping up again. People are showing clips of some of Rob Reiner's movies. And I realize I'm like, he had like movies that all of us loved. And I'm like, I look at movies now to what he wrote, and I'm like, oh, I miss those movies. Like the Rob Reiner movies, like the Stand By Me's and the Harry Met Sally's that actually were storytelling. He was a
40 years
fantastic
ago?
storyteller. Some of them were 40, some of them were 30 years ago, but it's like there's something nostalgic about all of those and the world that we no longer have.
Yeah.
And every time I hear the words Rob Reiner, I think, hey, meathead.
Yeah.
Archie Bunker called him meathead for what, about 15 years? It was a long time. God, it was just wonderful show. That's one thing I will tell you, too. That show was phenomenal.
If anyone wants to hear a really great sort of someone who knew the Reiners personally and had just talked about their father who was on, this is Tim Conway Jr. He did, I'm going to say on Monday, he did a really great tribute to Rob Reiner and his family, how he grew up with them, because All in the Family was filmed on the soundstage next to the Carol Burnett show, and just talked about how the kids were raised together and just what their lives were like during that time. And obviously, Tim Conway, his father, was friends with Carl Reiner.
Right.
And just what Hollywood was like in that era. It was really like heartwarming because it was such a personal tribute and a throwback to what the world used to be like. And it was really, really well done. And he did have some insight, too, into Rob Reiner and the struggles he had with Nick, and just that, he fought for his family, and that's what he believed in. He didn't have it in him to just do the tough love thing.
You know what's so funny about that is I used to watch the show. And what the hell is the old man's name again? God, he was a great actor. The dad,
Carol O'Connor?
Archie Bunker. Carol O'Connor. There you go. God,
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. But now I lost my track because this is so disturbing to me. It just so. But he was kind of like my dad because my dad was gone. So I would look toward Carol O'Connor, kind of, hey Tom, what do you? Yeah. I just thought it was very, very cool that those two would argue all the time on the show. I'm talking about the characters on the show.
Yep.
It was just wonderful me to watch because, like, well, I guess no one's life is all that smooth,
It really was a snapshot into how
Yeah.
family dynamics can work.
Yep.
Whether it's
absolutely.
pleasant or not. But it's like why everybody was so devastated at Bill Cosby being a freaking
Yeah.
Pedophile.
horrible
Rapist.
pedophile, rapist.
Sexual
It's like
assaulter.
he was America's dad too for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Everybody felt like everybody wanted a dad like Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
And
Cosby Show defined the 80s in terms of sitcom.
It did.
I see Charlie's asking where is that tribute. It's the Tim Conway Jr. show is on KFI, so you can probably find it on an iHeart platform because they are iHeart and the podcast, so you should be able to find it there.
Wonderful. I know you got to go. I'm not going to keep you too long like I've been doing lately.
Yeah, hooray for Hollywood.
Yeah, geez.
I know that.
So great.
I'm in the middle of a Rob Reiner article, so I'm like, it's just like, we've been writing this week, but
It's also depressing. My God,
it's hard at this time of year too. Just the it's the holiday season, and I just think for like someone like Romy who discovered her father, it's just that's life changing in a way that is just heartbreaking.
Yep.
terrible.
It's heartbreaking.
No question about it. All right, dear. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be back tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
I should probably turn the mics on. I'm doing a commercial. That'd be good.
Very helpful.
Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. As a business owner, you're always looking for opportunities to grow, and that's where North American Banking Company can help. Their business banking team offers tailored solutions, whether you're expanding your team, opening a new location, or upgrading equipment. Because they're locally owned, loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities, which means faster approvals and more flexibility to meet your needs. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, why not bank with my friends? And they are my friends. That's one thing I've told you before. I don't call people my friends if they're not really my friends. And I have to put up with Bilski, so what does that tell you? Anyway, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. We're rocking out, man.
Beep-a-bop-bop-bop-a, beep-a-bop-bop.
Yeah, beep-a-bop. There's no question
Chris
about it.
thought we were still in St. Louis Park, so he's on his way.
Oh, yeah, I suppose that'll happen.
Make sure
Yeah,
he knows
I-
where to park.
Yeah, it's only about
Yeah,
a
I-
mile.
Don't let the
dude.
neighbor mad at us.
He'll be here very soon, but just not
Okay.
quite yet.
Well,
So
that's
I'm going to
fine.
have to go fetch him as soon as he arrives.
I have
So,
to fetch
yeah.
him.
What do you think about this one? So Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Ann Arbor.
You know the organization Crime Watch, where people put the little eyeball around the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, Ann Arbor has decided that they've got to not have that program anymore because it's not inclusive.
Inclusive of who?
Criminals, I guess.
This is the kind of stuff that makes your brain go,
I know.
what does this even mean? All of this is like made up garbage. How not welcoming? Well, what?
No.
I mean, you want a safe neighborhood. You want people watching out for each other. That's actually a very nice thing, and creates a higher trust society.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that you watch out for criminal activity keeps your children and everybody safe and your property safe. Someone explain that to me. How is it a bad thing? Anybody?
No, I thought Andy was going to answer you.
Well, the Neighborhood Watch program actually went away quite some time. The new news is that they are removing the signs. So the signs are just like kind of sitting there doing nothing right now.
Well, what does
And
that
they want
mean?
them- What do you mean? What does that mean?
Well, if it was an organization and there were just signs, why was the organization disbanded?
That is a good question.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because it got in the way.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing that's why, but I want to see what reason they actually gave. I'm
I have a
guessing it's
question.
a stupid
I have a question.
reason.
I have a question about that whole thing, as a matter of fact, looking back at my life and all the rest of it, and that all of a sudden now everybody's an expert on religion, on skin color, on sexual orientation. Look back in history. KQRS Morning Show was the first morning show that had not one, not two, but three black men on it at different times. Philip Wise, I miss you so much, can't even tell you. JB is a great friend still to this day. I haven't seen Tevin in a while, but he's another nice guy. But, they knew more about skin color than apparently I did, even though I hired three black people. You know what I mean? All of it. It just, they mold and, I guess, whatever you do to make things work for you, and then it's fine. But we're also being taught in our school system, from what I understand. I haven't been in school in quite some time now, but I've been taught by some students, I guess they're friends of mine's children, that they're being taught basically that if you're a white male, you are inferior.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of colleges that are teaching how toxic whiteness is, and that we have to eliminate whiteness. And I just, it defies any sort of logic.
It does. There's no question. But that's the situation. Back in the days, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago, whatever, white people did not treat black people well, from what I understand. In my neighborhood, they did, because we all lived together and everybody got along just fine. It all worked out in the end, thank God. But why do you have to have a group that you don't want involved in anything you do. There's always got to be a group that you piss on.
Oh, I feel like it's all politically motivated.
It is.
You've got to
There's no
have,
question. It's
you have
money.
to have a scapegoat. You have to have somebody to champion. You have to have someone to blame. They just can't do their jobs.
Well, all right.
How about Big Dave? Big Dave, yeah, but you're a racist, Tom.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, no question. Big Dave,
On
13.
hopefully more positive news.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Chris
think it's
Maddock
hilarious.
with a
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, we started out talking about Rob Reiner and his wife, and it just, we need. Could
That's
you be
awful.
funny?
Oh yeah.
yeah, rescue our show. Please.
That's nice.
We need
That's
help.
nice.
Lift us up out of this.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What a terrible event.
I
Terrible.
know. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're not wearing your shoes indoors. You're so polite.
Thank you for that.
Is that should I get him on or?
No, you're good.
Hey, we should provide Tom Bernard Show slippers to go
Yeah,
with the
there
merch.
you go.
There you go.
with the merch. Bring your
Everyone that
slippers.
comes in gets a free pair of
Yeah,
slippers.
you could put Tom and Bernard on the bottom. I put
There
my
you
feet
go.
up.
I like it.
Oh, thank you.
That
I
would
really
work.
appreciate that. So where are we appearing?
Oh, we got a New Year's Eve show
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
at the Comedy Corner Underground, newly moved and improved. It's in the basement of Whitey's Old Town Saloon in Northeast Minneapolis.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
They were in the same spot. The Comedy Corner Underground was underneath the Corner Bar in the Seven Corners area
Yeah. Yep.
for 20 years, and then that closed, and so now they moved over to Whitey's. So it's a shiny new little club in the basement there.
Nice.
Yeah,
it
me
is,
and
no
Ben Katzner are going to be co-headlining. There you go.
I love this. Whenever we have comedians on, or actually when we have anybody on, our comments from the listeners are hilarious. You better be funny, pal.
Jeez,
You just got
took
here.
my shoes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him warm up a bit.
You contacted me asking if you could get on before New Year's, and we were all booked up, but then it just so happened that we could get you on.
See?
So
Wow,
the
beautifully.
universe wanted you to promote your show.
Yeah, the universe is pretty good to me.
That's
Well, I'm
good.
glad
The
to hear that.
universe are good right now.
Good.
We like to hear that the universe is being good to somebody. That's
Now, are
very
you like
good.
me, where you're always a little bit worried when everything is going well?
Oh yeah, I can dig something up for sure.
Yes.
I suppose.
Like,
I'm good at that.
when's this gonna end?
The last time you were on our show was when? Last year?
Yeah. No, I mean it was in 2025. I think
Oh, was it?
it was me, David. David Harris was there.
Actually, I think you might have been one of the last shows in the old studio. Now that I think about
Yeah,
it,
I get that a lot.
the show it's just not worth doing anymore.
I did.
You
I
know.
did a show at the old Comedy Corner Underground once, and I woke up in the morning and it was like it burned. Like this, it was all closed because it set on fire.
Well,
So yeah, that happens.
and you had a perfect alibi. So
I don't think I did it.
You don't
may or
think
may
so?
not. It's hard to
I'm
say.
sticking to that.
And did we introduce Chris? Do people know?
Yeah, we did.
we did?
Well, everybody wants to know who you are, Chris. So explain who you are. What
Who
the hell?
are you anyway?
Who are you?
Chris Maddock, country music legend and also stand-up comic.
There you
Birdie.
Yeah, live Minneapolis' own. I'm the pride and joy of your town.
I have a question. I do have a question for you, and it's from the first time I met you. It sticks in my head. Chris Maddock and Chris Maddle. Do you get confused? Do people get confused? Which one is you?
I don't.
Chris Maddle's not going to run for governor, apparently.
Who is? I don't know who this
Oh,
is.
he's an attorney.
He's an attorney, big name
Oh.
attorney. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess
He's running for governor or mayor.
Yep,
running
he's
for
throwing
governor.
his hat in the ring for governor, I think.
Yep.
Okay,
Mayor,
well,
who
I'll
knows?
sit out then.
I don't know. Everyone else is, so
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
No,
I-
there's a Chris Maddock from my hometown. I grew up in Stillwater,
Ooh,
and
Oh, yeah.
there's of all things, there's two Chris Maddocks.
That's such a
one
beautiful
of them a
area.
murderer or anything?
No, mine is I think spelled different.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
Mine's goddamn backwards.
Oh, there you go.
Yes,
God
it is.
damn.
That's
Yeah,
my
I get-
grandpa taught me that.
I just get, ladies and gentlemen, from the KQ Morning Show, please welcome Tom Brainerd. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Tom Brainerd. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we had you on in May, and when did we move? August?
Yeah,
That's about
something
right,
like
It
yeah.
wasn't one of the last shows, but it was
Yeah.
it was pretty close to one of the last shows in St. Louis Park.
I like the new digs.
Yeah. Well, Kathryn found the place and decorated it and the whole deal. She did a really
Decorated
nice
it.
We decorated it.
job. Well, Andy did the studio. I mean,
did
gonna
do the
try to give
studio.
credit to people.
Yeah.
Don't try to be nice to people, Chris, and getting pissed on here. This is
Who
unbelievable.
decorated this place? Is what I want.
Yeah,
I
look
know
at that.
that soundproofing paneling is great.
Settle down, all
So
of you.
There's a
pretty.
reason it's over on those walls behind the camera.
Hey, you've had that thing happen where you're like talking about something, and then all of a sudden you're talking about slippers. Now I'm going to get slippers
Yeah.
advertised on my phone. That's
Yes.
happened to you.
Oh, of course.
The
Oh,
weirdest
yeah.
one that ever happened was I had this soundproof stuff in an extra room in my place, and all I did was I took it all down one day. I wasn't walking around by myself. I wasn't walking around talking about sound paneling or anything, foam panels. I just
Right.
took it all down, and then I started getting advertisements for it.
Oh, creepy. They're watching you.
Yeah, it was watching me. And they saw, foam squares, and then just like getting advertised for
Well,
that.
maybe they just heard the audio quality in your home go down, and they were like, "This guy could use some sound paneling."
Yeah, that could be it. I think it was me. Yeah, it's because I go, taking down the foam squares, da-da-da.
And now we'll take down another foam square.
I know. I keep on saying stuff to my phone like free billions and free crypto, and it hasn't been. I haven't gotten any.
nothing.
I haven't gotten anything.
Nothing.
Keep trying.
It's rather unfortunate. Well, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Oh, smart ass Bowen had to, what is that, MBO 711 Bowen?
The
Margaret.
sausage king.
You're not the popcorn king. That happened to me at the Carver County Fair, I think it was. They asked me to come out and just appear on stage for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I walk out on stage, and there's this whole section of people just staring at me. Everybody else, giving me a nice applause. They weren't all the rest of it. So as soon as they all quieted down, one guy in the front says, "You're not the popcorn king." I said, "What?" He goes, "You're not Tom Bernard." I said, "Yes, Tom Bernard." He goes, "Tom Bernard's the popcorn king." There's another Tom Bernard apparently out in the Southwest Metro, and they
Yeah.
thought I was going to be the popcorn king, and they were very pissed I was only a disc jockey.
Well, maybe that's the one that they wanted, and they got you. By
Well, that's what happened, I think, maybe. That is a possibility. No doubt about that. So
I got to assume you're like objectively more famous than the popcorn king. Why would they think that guy was going to be?
It depends on where you live, right?
I suppose it depends
maybe
where
not
you
in
live.
Carver County.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big trouble,
Where's
man.
Carver County?
It's about
Southwest.
half an hour west. I would know because I live there.
Oh, straight west, yeah.
It's like Waconia and Chaska.
Waconia is in there. Chaska, I don't think is, no.
No? Okay.
Delano, I believe.
Okay.
Is it
Well-
for making popcorn or eating popcorn? I don't need to know.
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I think that it was pre-popped. I think I'm not sure, but that's a possibility. So I got to get a take about this because we just went through a situation with Rob Reiner that is unbelievable. Do people have a sense of humor right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
they better.
Yeah, they better exactly. Yep.
But no, they do. They always do. Remember when 9/11? It was like, will we ever laugh again?
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
I think people always do. It's. I don't know if it's the American way or something, but people do. But no, it's. No, that one was horrible.
Yep.
It was pretty bad, but I mean, more than for me right now, laughing is maybe as important as it's ever been. Maybe not more, but as important as it's ever been because the world is pretty damn squirrely. It's pretty goofy right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw
few
somebody
ways.
put up a clip of. I think it might be the last episode of All in the Family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You see
yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yep.
Where it's Rob Reiner is a young man and he's talking to Archie and he's trying to tell him that he's going to miss him, after all the fighting and everything. And he said, you've been like a father to me, and then this happens. But
Yeah.
it's moving.
It is very, very moving, and was there? I haven't seen this. Was there a reason this guy decided to do this? I mean, but
We don't know yet.
we don't know yet. Okay, because I mean, to kill him and his wife, and well, his father and his mother.
Well, so was the woman his mother? Because
What
I
they're
know
saying, I
Rob
don't
had been
know.
married multiple times, had he not? Or am
I
I
don't
just
know. I don't know if
completely
it was his
insane? Let's
mom.
see. Let's find out.
Yeah.
That's a good
Oh
question.
yeah, he had been married twice. So was Nick with the first wife or the second wife?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that because he killed her too.
My guess is he cut him off somehow.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, how
Right.
old
Well,
is
and also he just had embarrassed him at a party, so
Yeah,
that they
right.
probably had
Yep.
some sort of an argument, and maybe he finally
Yep.
just got fed up. I don't know. I mean, we'll
His
never
dad
know.
embarrassed him?
Yeah, apparently they were at a party. There was a neighborhood party with all these celebrities, and apparently the son was interrupting and driving somebody crazy, and everything just accelerated from there. And then after they went home, apparently he just killed his parents.
Yeah, it was a party at Conan O'Brien's place.
Right,
And there's
yeah,
a whole
yep.
bunch of A-listers there, and he got in an argument with who did she say?
I think I heard this. Bill Hader.
Yes.
Oh, Bill
Bill
Hader,
Hader.
yeah.
And then apparently Rob somehow he like, took Bill's side or something, and that's all it took apparently. And yes, by the way, it was his mother. So the
It
first
was his
wife,
mother.
the first wife wasn't his mother. So yeah, he killed his own mother and father.
Oh, God. Just
Unbelievable.
Fun stuff.
I never got along with my dad, but I never wanted to kill him. You know?
Yeah, my dad embarrassed me plenty.
Yeah, there you go. See? But you didn't kill him, did you?
No, I didn't.
Good. I'm glad to hear
Well,
that. I'm
yeah.
glad to hear it. Is it the world right now that nobody can ever be right? That I'm the only one who knows everything and I'm the only one who's ever right and you're an idiot? Everybody else is an idiot now to other people. It's weird. Is that our education system? What the hell is that?
I don't know if maybe it's the fact that you can talk about and to people without them actually being there.
Yeah,
Yep.
very
And then,
true.
Like, there's this thing where, like, if you what don't you get? It's so simple, you know.
Right.
And like,
That's true.
yeah, instead of like, we should be teaching people how to try to see the other people's point of view, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life, and you talk to Kathryn about this, I don't give a rat's ass if you're a man, a woman, you're straight, you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're brown. Why would I possibly give a rat's ass? But they do now, boy. Honky men are not doing too well right now with these far left psychopaths.
Well, identity politics is a very effective tool for politicians
Right.
to divide people and get
But-
people whipped up.
I will tell you that I have 2 family members haven't talked to me in years because I don't agree with them in politics. They stopped talking to me. I'm like, what?
It's apparently very common.
It is very common. Yeah, matter of fact, I talked to Renee Sternow, who's a great psychologist. I talked to Renee about that. He said, oh, God, yeah, that's widespread everywhere now. It's
Yeah, every
unbelievable.
Thanksgiving, you see a bunch of people making social media posts about how they haven't talked to their uncle in 20 years or whatever. They're
Like a
proud
badge
of
of honor. Yeah.
So weird.
It's just a badge of
very
intolerance, in my opinion. It's like it's not proving anything except for you're intolerant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people disagree with that. I think it's your duty to get along at least once a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, once a year would be good.
That's all we ask.
Like, that's all you got to do to, make your parents happy or whatever. But I mean, I like my family, but yeah.
That's good. I mean, I do too. I adored my mother, my brothers, my sisters, all the rest of them, just because they didn't want to talk. I got a brother and a sister who won't talk to me, but that's their business. I got no problem with that.
I've had to straighten out 2 of my brothers. One is so far left that he runs around in circles, and one's so far right that he runs around in other circles.
different circles.
And I'm like, both of you need to just shut up and get along. Who cares what he
agree.
thinks? Who
Well, they
cares?
argue all the time, but I've never seen them like fight or scream or anything like that.
No.
No,
Well,
that-
not around me, because
At a
they
family gathering, yeah, no. Like
I would
they
never
keep
put
it.
up
They've
with
always
that.
kept it civil.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's
good.
I don't. Who cares who you voted for? You just
I
got
couldn't
all
agree
of that
more.
has got to stop.
Your
don't
one vote changed everything.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Also, though, I think you don't hear like news stories or social media posts about like I don't go on there and go, well, I disagree with some of my family, but I make sure we get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And if you
That'd
do
be
make
nice.
those kind of posts, they get 5 views and 0 likes because no one
Yeah.
cares.
That's all my
Right.
posts.
Well, maybe you
don't
should
get it.
start stirring shit up then, huh?
Yeah, I need to start my own social media page.
But why is it all the holidays put a huge stress on people with the Thanksgiving and then the Christmas and then New Year's and then whoever is celebrating whatever. Why is that so stressful for people? I mean, it's supposed to be having a good time, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, they get stressed out buying stuff. and
Yep.
then they
Yeah.
get,
Well, that's true. Good point.
and then it's like they get stressed out with talking to people and
Well, yeah, in our own family, we've had we were all going to go to someone's house for our annual Christmas Eve thing that we've always done with Melissa's family and extended family.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone had to cancel. So instead, we're going to go to someone else's house. And then yesterday, we find out that the people who canceled could uncancel. So now we're going to do it. And so
smooth.
Melissa had to go to Costco and get the charcuterie tray and stuff. And it's I don't know. Just the littlest things can snowball into 2 weeks of just constant work.
yeah.
So there is that.
What's that line from Christmas Vacation? It's Christmas and we're all miserable.
Mhm.
Rich is chopping
there you
stuff,
go.
smoking.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I'm sentimental. I love Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I
I
do
do
too.
too. God, I do
It's a
too. I
lot
just
more
love it.
work these days. It's a lot
Yeah.
more work than it was when I was 8.
Well,
Possibly.
we were just walking around yesterday and we saw a house that was
Oh,
overly decorated, let's say.
on
I
the
mean,
video.
yeah, I put the video on my Instagram and my ex
Yeah.
account. It was hilarious. Tom had to rescue when they had the big snow globe, with the snow
Yeah.
flying around. That had fallen over. So I'm like, go over there and put that up. These people really. I think they had a character from every Christmas movie that
Oh,
I've
yeah.
ever seen in my entire life, and then
yeah.
some other ones I didn't even know about. What was
Where
the?
was it?
It was up in Jupiter, Florida.
Jupiter, Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful,
It was-
beautiful
you
town.
can't believe how much crap they had up in their house.
I like it.
I know.
Yeah.
It was like, is this too much? Not enough? What do you
I
think?
I know for a lot of people, especially people in Florida who are born there, they don't associate snow and cold with Christmas.
No,
But
they
to
don't
me,
at all.
you go down
right.
to Florida and it's Christmas time and it's 70 degrees out. It's just something feels off.
Yeah.
It's this isn't Christmas. No, something is wrong here. There
Well-
needs to be at least a chill in the air for it to truly
yeah.
be Christmas.
Yeah, they do a lot of things that you would never ever be able to do up in Minnesota.
is
Like they put
true.
Christmas lights all over their cars, which you couldn't do because it would just be covered with sludge and
Yeah.
and they would burn out real fast. And everybody, a lot of people wear Santa hats.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that, right, in Minnesota unless they're collecting money. You don't see
Yeah.
people just going to work in a Santa hat. You see
Yeah, they're
people
making up.
in the suit and a Santa hat or some sort of reindeer head piece or something like that. You see cars that have antlers. They stick them on their car doors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
It's
I saw
big
that,
down
though.
here. That's big down here.
Yeah, that is big down here. So they do. I mean, and lots of Christmas sweaters and things like that.
Aw.
You don't really. I don't know. I feel like they celebrate it in different ways, but it's kind
Yeah,
of,
they're making
yeah.
up for the lack of snow.
Exactly.
My son and I are compiling pictures. We take pictures of. We're gonna make a coffee table book called Lazy Christmas because I like. Sometimes you see the people they have one string of lights sort of
Right.
half of them are out, and it's like there you go. What happened? That somebody gave up.
I love it.
Somebody lost the Christmas spirit halfway through.
All right, we should probably take our second
yeah.
break. Huh?
Okay, I'll read this into it. This will be perfect.
All right, then.
This is from DH 1962, and I don't know what does that say? It doesn't matter. People think that cozy crap they see on TV and movies is how it's supposed to be in their real life and their dysfunctional families. I think you might be right about that. There's a possibility.
These days, TV and movies are more dysfunctional than real life half the time.
No, that's true. That's a very good point.
It's the drama.
We shall take a break. Be right back right after this.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot.
Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It is Tom for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity if you care deeply about someone in your life. Wellshire is a place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team always staffed within the building, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire Medina now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com. We're rocking out, man.
I make fun of our music generator a lot for the terrible names it comes up with.
Like what?
This song is just straight up called Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck. That was a good
Not
song.
sure you can do that, but hey.
Well, yeah, maybe.
What is it? Was it an AI?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we generate AI bumper music on this show because we're tech savvy.
Cool.
Who
And
is
also, it's better. We used to have like a selection of like 25 songs, and you think, wow, 25 songs, it's plenty. But no, it actually, you cycle through them pretty quickly.
Right.
I have a question. Did you guys see the article this morning in the national news where there's some AI tech company reaching out to Amazon asking to borrow $10 billion?
Yeah,
to
that's
borrow
how
their
you know
business?
it's a bubble, is they're all asking for billions of dollars from each other at this
Oh,
point.
they are? Okay.
It's
Okay.
a very like a cycle, like company A borrows
Yeah.
from company B, borrows from company C, and so forth. There's going to be a massive collapse very soon in the AI industry.
I hope so. Because there was another one this morning. What was the one yesterday that I heard the AI guy mispronounce? What the hell was it? It was Muskrat Love. Oh, Captain and Tennel.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful song coming up from Captain and Tennel. You mean Tennille? Captain and Tennille. Her name's Tennille, actually, not Tennel. But, you know. And there were a couple more of them on there this morning. I don't even pay attention anymore because they just massacre these names. And I'm very famous people, too. It's like, you got to know who that is, don't you?
Well, they're AI. They don't know anything.
They don't know anything because they're not real.
Know letters, read the letters. Do your
Right.
best.
Right.
What are you going to do?
My son asked me what's the world gonna be like when I'm an adult? I was like, I have no idea.
boy.
How old is your son?
I don't know. No, it's 14.
Some amount of years. Oh, well, 4 years isn't that long. Oh. I mean, technically, he'll be an adult in 4 years, so it's,
Yeah.
you know. I hope
Catheryn.
that not that much can't change in 4 years, but I suppose you do never know.
I hear both things, that it's gonna be that AI is gonna rule the world, and it's not gonna be as big a deal as everyone says. So
I don't know. I think it's going to be both. I mean, I think AI will be everywhere, but it's never going to be like a war games kind of thing where it's like literally controlling everything. It's going to be like a tool. It's like, you know, at one point in history, someone invented the hammer, and now every house in the entire world has a hammer in it. But hammers don't exactly rule the world.
not yet.
Not yet.
One could only hope. Someday it might happen, but it's
The hammer
AI,
is
AI
aware.
stuff. Actually, I for many, many years, about 25, 30 years, I had a great voiceover career flying all over the United States, cutting commercial, all the rest of it. Now, nobody flies anywhere, does commercials or whatever. It's all fake.
Yeah.
I mean, local stuff, I guess really, really local stuff is done by real people. But my God, you hear these words and how they pronounce them. It's like, you're not even close.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I keep hearing like you think it's an actor that you know.
Yeah.
or-
Yes, yes.
And then just after a little while, I'm like, that doesn't sound quite right.
You're right about that. Getting dead. Somebody told me they heard, God, I can't remember what the product was, but it was, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever. But it was the voice of Muhammad Ali, who's been dead now for about 30 years.
Yeah.
I'll believe about that.
All of a sudden he's coming up from the grave doing commercials, make a little money, I guess. Whatever.
Oh, he's only been dead for 9 years.
Oh, really? Only 9?
Wow, I absolutely would have believed 30.
God,
But
I
he
loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah, now June 3rd, 2016.
He certainly wasn't speaking much. He wasn't taking on voiceover roles.
That is true.
He was not. That's very, very true. There's no question about it. But it's, whatever. How is it's a pretty sad period right now. How is the comedy world going to get through it? Because it just seems like no one's happy. Everybody's sad. This is bad. You would go to a comedy show to lift that off your shoulders, laugh, and have some fun. Do people handle it that way?
Yeah, I people have fun at the shows.
Good.
I've been having a lot of good shows lately. I don't think anyone, dwells on the news that much.
Good.
When they're out to see the show. Maybe it's the kind of people that will come to see the show or something. But
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
yeah.
Well, I would say it's kind of like a no-brainer. You're at a comedy show. Why not just focus on the comedy?
Yeah.
But then there's the whole trend of people going to movies and being on their phone during the movies. So I don't know,
Right.
actually.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, all the time you see, YouTube videos of a comedian doing their bit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's always, they say something that's just a little bit teensy weensy controversial, and they get this woman in the audience, this woman with the sourpuss face, like, I'm going to protest as soon as I get out of here.
Yep.
It's like, just relax. You came to a comedy show. It's okay.
Exactly.
One thing about comedy,
Everybody
that
relax.
I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I've noticed clips of comedy that you see on social media. It is always crowd work. Is that just how comedy is now? Is it just nothing but crowd work?
That was like a plague. I think maybe it's dying down now, but that was like a real this trend in the industry. Where it was like people just go up to get their crowd. So they
crowd work for social media clips, and then that's their entire act.
And then and then they get a lot of followers because of that, and then they get hired, and then they're not really able to do the job. So I heard, but it's like a lot of time it was just like that's all it was for a while.
Yep,
just people trying to get clips, and then all of us were like writing stuff. And
and it's like crowd work is good. Everyone should do, I guess, a little bit to a certain degree, maybe 30 seconds per set. But you need some actual jokes in there, I think.
Yeah, it was just people saying stuff, trying to get and it was and they might stay up there longer just because they didn't get it yet.
Yeah, something like that.
That was a terrible disease for a while.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Paul Mercurio did that. He did mostly crowd work.
Oh yeah, Paul Mercurio does a lot of crowd work.
Yeah, but he did that long before the whole
but he was really good at it.
just doing it as a farming.
Yeah,
job
that's
for social
different than
media.
trying to get it as a clip or whatever. Like Ian Bagg is just a genius at it, and he knows how to work it, and he can just stay up there for hours doing that. But most of us have to use strategy.
What's so one? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
No, good.
Very, very quickly, I just saw a couple of clips last night. Watched a little late night not late night television, but 9 o'clock or whatever. But I do love the fact that there's entire catalogs of bits being done. I was a huge Rodney Dangerfield fan back in the days, and you can find him everywhere. I mean, he's on. Well, they show clips of him on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Oh my God, was that funny?
I watch those. Yeah,
it's amazing. Let me tell you, when I was a kid,
Oh, that's good.
He come out and maybe I should take over his spot.
That was good. You should. You could do it on the radio, and nobody would know.
What do you mean I'm dead?
Dang. That's good. That's good. Yeah, like rice. Yeah, I miss those. I saw the one with George Burns recently.
Oh God,
George Burns.
He's asking,
Wow.
Johnny's asking him how many cigars he smokes, and he, about 15 a day. He says, "What is your doctor thing?" He just interrupts him. My doctor's dead.
See, now there's humor right there.
Yeah. I've been showing my kid all these. Yeah, I started showing him Don Rickles and all that kind of
Does
stuff.
he want to get into comedy?
He's I don't know, man. I think he does, but he's not allowed.
No.
No, he can, but I was like, get a job. He sometimes sells merch after the shows, and then he never says it to me, but then I hear him talking to like the crowd. Are you going to be a comedian too? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 14-year-old boy, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
That's
They're
how
not
it should
forthcoming with information. I don't know if you know that about 14-year-olds. For the first 13 years of his life, right? He didn't stop talking for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that he's 14, he like all of a sudden he's taller than me, and I think the extra the extra body weight, like his brain has to control that now, so he can't talk anymore. But you just like, do you have homework? I don't know. What do you mean, do you or don't you? Yeah.
Do 14-year-olds these days still call everything gay? That was the thing when I was a 14-year-old.
No, I don't think
No.
anymore. No, not
No?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
What's the go-to insult now?
Honestly, that kind of did make a comeback.
Did it?
If it ever
Oh,
went
did it?
anywhere.
If it ever went anywhere.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he asked me once. He's like, "Why do people why do people say like, call you gay like it's an insult?" And I said, "Well, you know how you hold the door for me sometimes, and when I walk through it, you say ladies first."
Oh.
I go, well, like, you don't think like women are like stupid, do you? He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a thing.
But you shouldn't.
Are you
Don't do it.
Are you living through the 6-7 stuff?
Oh,
Is he,
someone just put that in the chat.
Oh, did they really?
is he doing that?
Yeah, he's above that.
14's
thank
too
God.
old for that, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's like what? Probably like 6 to 12.
Yeah, yeah.
And nobody
maybe,
knows where it came from, right? There's probably a
Right.
TikTok video or
means
something.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
know where it came from, but
Oh,
the
you
kids
do?
who say it don't know where it came from. They just say it because their peers say it, and their peers say it because their peers say it.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah, it's the famous for being famous of the meme world, basically.
Yeah.
That's true. We'll take our final break, be right back, and wrap things up right after this.
This
after
cold
this.
won't go away.
The salespeople at the Valley dealerships watch the traffic whizzing by. Probably to the Mall of America or a Super Target. It's the holidays. People aren't thinking about buying cars. Being sales professionals who enjoy the human interchange as much as the sale, they're edgy. They've only each other and they're tired of hearing the same jokes and stories repeated. Now, Valley has never used the word sale in its advertising. Their salespeople set their own prices. Come to a Valley store now and you have a sale, born of sheer loneliness. Want to talk about new GMCs, the Vikings quarterback situation, maybe the new Taylor Swift album? They don't care. They're salespeople, they're extroverts, they're desperately bored, and you're a new face. Just one request from Brett Paul of the Valley stores.
I'm begging. If you're working with one of my staff during the holidays, please don't ask to see any pictures of their kids. Just play fair.
Create your own holiday sale on a new Buick or GMC at a Valley store in Apple Valley or Hastings today.
You're listening to me. Your customers are. I can guarantee you that. They're listening to us too. They'll hear me promote your business. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support their businesses they trust. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads. We're about results. Whether you're a local business on a new national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics, allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers and everyone in between. With the broad reach of the show and passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers and sales.
There we go.
Oh, who is it?
The music generator had to think for a second.
I
Yeah.
suppose it's probably true.
I was thinking I could lay down on this couch and you could do like psychotherapy on me.
Yeah,
I like it.
Let's do that.
Right over there, outside
Yeah.
of the
So
shot.
tell me about your childhood.
Oh, how much time you got? They
How
made
do you
me
respond to stress?
run.
Just start weeping.
You know what's so funny about that was the fact that my voice has been like this since I was about 4 years old. So I would answer the phone, hello. They go, yes, is your wife there? I said, my wife? I'm 8.
I mean, are you
I'm 8
smoking
years-
or something?
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? No, my family. Well, not everybody in my family's got a deep voice.
No, a
Terry
lot of
does.
your siblings actually have relatively high voices. I
They
guess your
do,
brothers, they're all pretty like raspy at the very least.
Yeah, that's true. Raspy at the very least.
I
There's
rem-
no question.
you guys, I'm sure everybody knows one of these guys. They're really, really skinny. They've got a huge Adam's apple.
Right.
They're tiny, and they've got this really deep voice.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You're always like, where does this come from?
It's like the buzzard from Looney Tunes.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Who
Remember that?
is
it's funny to hear.
who was the big tall guy with the deep voice? Was it the Addams Family?
Lurch?
You rang.
Lurch.
Lurch, yeah. Who was that? That was a great character.
Name
You
was
Oh,
like-
rang.
I don't know.
Let's see, Lurch Adams Family. He had some strange name, I believe.
Or did he?
Was he a
Let's see, who
Rooski?
followed him?
Yeah, he was a rooski. There you go.
I think it might have been. Well, let's see. The original one was Ted Cassidy. Apparently, he was also Tarzan.
It was two lurches?
There
Oh, I
was.
didn't know
There's
that.
been many Lurches.
Have
Really?
there? Well, with all that makeup on, who could tell?
That's true.
Well, yeah, and the Addams Family has gone through so many different iterations and stuff.
Loved it, though. Loved that show when I was a kid. No question about
Wait,
it. All right.
who was the Munsters? Didn't they?
Munsters was different.
That
No,
was
they didn't
Frankenstein.
have that. Oh, that was it was Grandpa.
Munsters had the cool theme song. It was like surf guitar.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was Fred Gwynn.
That's right.
Yeah, Fred Gwynn played you, not the
Uncle Fester.
Uncle. No, it wasn't Uncle Fester. It was the
Uncle Fester was the Addams Family.
There's an episode of that where Herman Munster gets, I don't know if he gets struck by lightning or some accident happened, and he wakes up and he looks normal,
Oh,
and then you get to see him act like Herman Munster but with no makeup on.
That's good.
It's cool because he's like really good at, you see all these facial deals he's doing. And it's like, oh, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he was
Yep.
Herman Munster, but he was basically Frankenstein's monster. I mean, he was very
Yeah,
obviously
yes.
modeled after Frankenstein's
Yeah,
monster
yeah.
from the old films.
Fred Gwynn.
those were
Yeah,
some
he looks in the
old
mirror, he
shows.
looks normal, and he's like, oh.
He's all shocked.
Isn't it funny now when you watch a show that has a laugh track on it? How
I know it feels so
how
old-fashioned.
dorky the laugh tracks feel.
Yeah. Well, not some of them have paid laughers, like
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes.
Bill Maher
Absolutely.
show. I mean, I like Bill Maher, but you can hear it in there. He says something, kind of funny, and there's like three people just going, oh.
Yeah,
Like, come on,
I don't know about that one.
All right. There's,
Laughter.
do a good job.
I guess I've done this over the years, so somebody asked me to do it. You rang.
Yeah.
There you go.
You rang. He said that every time somebody had, he
Didn't
had to
we
answer the
have
door.
him on the show or something, and someone asked if he could say that? Wasn't that like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's probably about
What am I
right.
thinking
yeah.
of? Someone out there who's listening, one of you asked, we had someone in, and you asked him to say you rang, but it wasn't Ted Cassidy. I don't. Well, it would have been the Fred Gwynn, right?
Fred
was the
Gwynn,
original
yep.
Herman Munster, but
That's
he's I'm
correct,
sure been
yeah.
dead for quite some. Yeah, he's been
Oh.
dead since '93.
93.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, he was a very large man. He was 66, which isn't great, but I don't know.
Well, wasn't
was-
that show even in black and white?
Yes.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they're old shows.
My cousin Vinny, he was the judge.
Oh, that's right.
6'5".
Not that
So
big.
Oh,
I thought he was
that's
bigger.
not hideously tall or anything, but it's tall.
It's too tall, man.
It's yeah,
It's
you
too
not want to be
tall.
6'5". I agree, but it's not like incompatible with life tall, where you see these like 7'8" guys who die at 40 because their hearts are just 2 sizes too small.
What's that guy's name that was 8'2" or something like that?
Robert Wadlow.
Wadlow, yeah, Robert Wadlow.
Yeah, 8'11".
Died 8'11". That's right. He was 8'11". I'm like, why can't I just be 9 feet tall?
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Can we
God.
just say 9? Like anything you say, man.
Yes, he makes his Tinder profile. He puts 9 feet down.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, if you had obviously there's a lot of health problems that come with somebody that's that tall, right? They usually have bone problems and all kinds of weird stuff. Today, if you had a kid that was like growing so fast,
Well, yeah, we put the kibosh on that these days.
Can they stop it?
Yeah, it depends on what it is. I mean, like they'll find a pituitary tumor. I think for Robert Wadlow, it was in fact a tumor. It was pressing on his pituitary. Let's see, hypertrophy of his pituitary gland. So yeah, these days they can control your human growth hormone and all that sort of stuff.
So you could pick your height.
Technically, yeah. They're like, yeah, if you want to be 8.5 feet tall when you grow up, it's all up to you.
I remember sitting on an airplane next to some guy, and I don't know why we got on the topic of his son, but he said his son is really, really short, and that at some point they start giving them human growth hormone to boost their height.
I know 2 people that happened to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just were little people, and at a certain age, it's just like, this just isn't happening, and then they try to help them along.
Does it actually? Yep. I mean, does it do more harm than good? Does it help? Do they actually grow?
No,
How much?
It only hurts you if you become so tall that like you start getting, bone problems and joint problems and that sort of thing. But if you're going from 4.5 feet tall to 5 feet tall, I think you're just going to see an improvement in your life, most likely.
Yeah.
We must plug your show now. It's time to wrap it up, but we got to hear where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, how long you're going to be there. We need all that stuff.
Well, I got a little one tonight. If you want to come out to the Camp Bar in St. Paul.
Oh, I love that place.
A little
tonight
one.
At 7.
Show?
Yep, a comedy show.
Okay. Be
on
specific.
Friday. This is all for my St. Paul people if you live over in Shelbyville. St. Paul, Zamboni's on 7th across the street from XL. I don't know what it's called anymore.
Mystic Lake something or other. What's it called? Grand Casino? I don't know.
They keep rebranding.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old, anyway, that's Zamboni's on 7th. That's on Friday. And co-headlining with Ben Katzner at the Comedy Corner Underground in Northeast Minneapolis on New Year's Eve.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Nothing but crowd work, right?
Nothing but crowd work. I got to get that clip.
Yeah. Whip out your cell phones, record everything. Put it on social media.
The other thing about that too is they try to make other people look stupid. It's just kind of like, you're like, what do you do? Oh, that's dumb.
I know. It's like, I'm a firefighter. Okay.
Firefighter. Oh, this guy.
Oh, tough guy over here.
Oh, it's saving lives.
God, that's right. Somebody requested I close the show doing my Rodney impression of one of his real jokes. And I was trying to think of what. It's been so long now since I've talked to Rodney Dangerfield. I can't even remember much of his material anymore.
I know, yeah, it is. It's hard to remember specific ones. I just remember his one about Dr. Ruth. She goes up on me.
We'll close with that. So all weekend, all you do is work.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And lazes about during the week.
Please do come in again as often as you can, man. I just love talking to you. Well, comedians are my heroes, have been. Well, seriously, and I'll close with this. Not a very sweet childhood, so it was always comedians I'd watch on the Tonight Show or whatever that made me feel good every day. I love comedians for that very reason. Made me laugh in some pretty tough times. And that's what you guys are so good at, right?
Right on. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. All right, we'll come back soon.
Dream.
Thank you. I love
Happy
coming
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
All
Happy New Year,
righty.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.
Bye.
Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking